All right, top Democrat and former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, placing the blame squarely on Vice President Dick Cheney for the CIA's practice of enhanced interrogation techniques. Listen.
I do believe that during the Bush-Cheney administration, that Vice President Cheney set a tone and an attitude for the CIA. I think he's proud of it. I think he's proud of it.
Well, we're about to find out. Here to react is the daughter of former Vice President Cheney and Fox News contributor Liz Cheney. Liz, is your dad proud of it, and did he set a tone?
Hey, Brian. Well, Thank you for having me on. Listen, my dad has been and remains a steadfast supporter of the Enhanced Interrogation Program, that saved lives and prevented attacks after 9/11. You had yesterday on the show Jose Rodriguez, somebody who oversaw that program. Frankly, Mrs. Pelosi is somebody who was briefed on the program. She forgot she was briefed on the program, later had to admit it. And I have to say that when I heard those comments yesterday, I was reminded of something that Margaret Thatcher once said about one of her political opponents. You know, Mrs. Pelosi's problem is that her spine doesn't seem to reach her brain.
Right.
We've got too many in Washington who were all in favor of doing everything necessary to defend the nation after 9/11, and now seem to be really not interested in looking at the facts, but really just looking for a way, frankly, to cast blame and say things that aren't true about those brave men and women.
They haven't met any al-Qaeda operatives, and the guys that stared him in the eyes, like Jose Rodriguez, went to the Justice Department and pitched what he'd like to do and got the okay from everybody before he went ahead and did it. Meanwhile, Senator Angus King, he calls himself an independent. He caucuses with the Democrats. He had this to say about Vice President Cheney. He was very upset that former Vice President Cheney was pleased that they did waterboarding.
Frankly, I was stunned to hear that quote from Vice President Cheney just now. If he doesn't think that was torture, I would invite him anywhere in the United States to sit in a waterboard and go through what those people went through, one of them 100 and plus odd times. That's ridiculous to make that claim. This was torture by anybody's definition.
Your reaction?
Senator King's just wrong. The person he's referring to who went through that 100+ times is Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. And if you go back and look at the 2004 CIA Inspector General report on enhanced interrogation, 3 people were waterboarded. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was waterboarded 183 times. He was waterboarded because the CIA believed that he and the other 2 had, and this is a quote, they believed that they had perishable information about imminent attacks on the United States of America. And the decision was made. It was absolutely the right decision, and certainly I hope that future presidents would make the decision again, that you've got to waterboard somebody because it means that you're going to get information to save lives and prevent attacks. And if the choice is you've got to waterboard somebody like Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who was responsible for the death of 3,000 Americans, you've got to do that in order to prevent further deaths and further attacks, which, by the way, we know it did, or you're going to let Americans die. And somebody like Senator King, somebody like Mrs. Pelosi, they've got to accept the consequences of their argument, which is to say, which attacks would you have let happen, which Americans would you have let die if you weren't willing to undertake those interrogations.
Yeah, if their relatives or they were in the line of fire, let's see how they would feel if their heart still would go out to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. Liz Cheney, thanks so much.
Great. Thanks for being with you, Brian.